Bitcoin has gone through the same, Ethereum's gone through the same, the whole space will go through the same, and some won't survive. But I thought about this because the narrative is the dotcom bubble. The actual reality is that was the largest game changer I've ever seen, probably since the 1950s that I've heard of. So what's Tesla worth in that? Fortune. So ignore how much they sell cars for, all of these things. These are much bigger things. Now, could it all go wrong? Of course it could. But he's also sold. This recession really made me realize that I was wrong. And the understanding of crypto and adoption effects and network effects and technology made me realize that I was wrong. Again, nothing wrong with value investing. It'll do absolutely fine. But it's not the way to create, it's not the way to take risk. And again, that's not for everybody. I think it's not dead, but will it outperform? I don't know. Because the world is moving, and people are going to hate me for saying this, because it's such the antithesis of the cynical, this time is not different. But it's been proven actually for the last 20 years now, 21 years, or longer, maybe 25 years, that Metcalfe's law and adoption curves and network effects are not valued in the same way. And value investors cannot value these things. And they say, yeah, you're all idiots. You'll see in the end. Well, we're 25 years in. I'm sorry, but somebody has to realize that that's a false dawn. Now, does value investing mean you lower your risk and build a nice portfolio and that does well over time? Absolutely. Will it outperform network adoption stocks? Zero chance ever, except in a down cycle. And when I talk about network effects, I'm not, even though the price rise goes exponential over time, when you break it down, it can have some really big ups and downs. So I'm not talking about a smooth curve. It's all going to be easy. We'll make money forever. No, it's like crypto. It comes with a downside. But so value investing is not going away. It will never outperform those companies. It will create robust, high quality portfolios that perform over time. And that's okay. If you've got lower risk, do that. No, that's noise. It was an S curve. S curves we're actually in an exponential adoption trend. All of these things I'm talking about are all going to be newly adopted by 7.5 billion people. People can't get their heads around this. It's not like selling a new fancy phone. It was the onslaught of the mobile phone itself was an adoption curve, as is crypto. So all of these things are going to have massive adoption curves. But in those adoption curves, you have something called an S curve, which is there are points in the life cycle of a business where it's not clear it's going to survive or it needs to pivot to grow fast again. And Amazon saw that. In fact, it fell 90% in 2000. And then it had several drops of 40 or 50%, maybe even 60%, as we went through the S curves of Amazon themselves or the market trying to establish, was this going to make it or not? That's normal. Bitcoin has gone through the same, Ethereum's gone through the same, the whole space will go through the same, and some won't survive. But I thought about this because the narrative is the dotcom bubble. The actual reality is that was the largest game changer I've ever seen, probably since the 1950s that I've heard of, where, you know, we created a consumer society. The internet was probably bigger than that. I mean, it was massive. So I think we should look back upon that point in history differently and just say, yeah, it was an early S curve, but what came out of it changed the world entirely. You know, I was an equity cynic. I didn't like the equity markets, too high valuation. I would do some trading stuff, you know, macro opportunities, but, you know, I've never been that buy and hold guy. I just couldn't get comfortable with this whole world. And then crypto started, and, you know, I've been in the space since 2013, but I still hadn't figured it out, but I've really figured it out over the last 18 months and what it meant and how big the opportunity was. And I realized that to create true wealth, you have to understand a theme really well and have very high conviction and concentrate all of your risk, which is the opposite of what we're told. But if you go back and look at Jeff Bezos, why is he so rich? Because he concentrated all his wealth in one bet. Now, you have to do that intelligently. You have to think about it. There's a bunch of, caveats, a lot of caveats to that. But that's what I'm trying to tell people. It depends what it is you want to achieve. And for some people who are not really investors, to give some money to growth guides, give some money to a value guide, that's all fine. But people who really want to get into it themselves, there's different opportunities. Some people can get rich owning gold mining companies. Some people can get rich owning value. Some people can get rich being short sellers in a bull market. There's no shortage of ways of getting rich, but the easiest way is trend following. And if you've got exponential trends behind your back, everybody can be the dumb money and all make money. And that's great. The question is, what do you want to invest in? And I think the world is set up for the past and not the future. So why are you investing? You're investing to create a future opportunity for yourself. So you're investing your current time to create quality time in the future, really. So there's two things I always say. Firstly, invest in your quality time now too. Quality of life is the best investment you can make. Then make the investment in yourself. So I would say, okay, where are the most likely opportunities lie? Well, we've talked about crypto. It has a very high chance of being a very big market for a very long period of time. So you're likely to make more money in that than you will have an all-time record high valuation in the equity market. But there's another thing happening, and I've only just started writing about this, so this is quite new for people, is we're also about to enter a technology age of which the world and humanity has never gone through before. We're about to combine crypto, a whole new financial system, a whole new exchange of value system with artificial intelligence, robotics. We're adding in Genome Sciences. We've seen this with how fast the vaccine came. Money's going to flood into that. We're seeing it with everything from autonomous driving to distributed edge computing, where everybody can have enormous computing power, where the cloud is going. We've got a bunch of technologies so disruptive, all hitting at the same time, that we're likely to see an extraordinary period of continued growth. We think about technology stocks as being these darlings of the 2010s, like Google and Facebook and stuff. But the reality is that, Elon Musk, and I know people hate Tesla, I really don't care